Hello, everybody. Tim Hughes here. I'm the CEO and co-founder of DLA Ignite. With me today, I've got Leigh Ashton, and I'm West London, and Leigh's East London, and we're going to talk
This is
about
a London gang
it's
today.
the London gang today, and we're going to talk about Leigh's new book, "Grow Your People, Grow Your Sales," which I have a copy of here. In fact, I got a signed copy.
Yeah, you did.
So, Leigh, it's great to see you.
Thank you
Remind
so
people, I
much.
always let people to get their pitch in first. So, where can people get hold of you?
You can find me on LinkedIn, is a favourite place where I like to go. And the great thing about being a bit older than everybody else is that I am Leigh Ashton 1. I got there before any other Leigh Ashton. So you can definitely find me on LinkedIn, or you can check out my website, which is sales-consultancy.com. And you'll find me in either of those places.
So you've had a really interesting career, haven't you, in sales? Um, and and to talk us through a little bit about that. And one of the things, Leigh, is that um, whenever I interview women, I always say this, is that there are a lot of women who are either in the teens or just starting out, and what they're looking for is to say, I want to be like that. And of course, because it's all full of white bald men like me, they don't see us as and what they're looking for is someone to say, here's somebody that's had a career in sales, they've been really successful, I want to be like that. So it's really about drilling down and understanding what it is that made you stand out and what made you a success.
Okay. Well, the first difference between me and a bald white man is that I've got hair. And the second is that,
You don't need to go into the second bit.
and the second is that when I got into sales, I didn't really know what I was doing. So I just thought I'd just be a nice person. So I naturally, when I was first in sales, just wanted to help people. So you haven't got to be this hard nosed, money orientated, really cutthroat salesperson to succeed, because I really was very, very successful as a salesperson, just with a strong desire to help people out. So that's the first thing, which is I think it's more of a female. That doesn't mean only females can do it, but it's much more of a feminine energy to want to do that, to care and nurture for people. But there's a lot of men that do that amazingly well. Um, and the thing that really, drove me was to be an achiever. I'd always been an achiever at school. I'd always won prizes, come top of the class. So it was naturally innate in me to want to keep growing and be better than I was the month before. And so that's what drove me. And the thing that brought me to my knees in a good way is because I was so good at sales, I was promoted to sales manager. And that's what brought me to my knees, because no longer was I in control of my destiny.
Yes.
My team were in control of my destiny, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I realized that I couldn't get people to do the successful things that I did. And it took me a while to figure it out, but I figured out that the reason they didn't is because they didn't think like me. So even if I shared with them, this is what I do and it really works, they would go, that they'd fall into three camps. You and I've talked about this before, Tim. The first camp was, Leigh, that sounds amazing. And off they would go and do it because they were quite similar to me. Or they'd go, Leigh, that's amazing. And off they would go and carry on doing what they were doing before.
Yep.
And the third category was, that won't work for me or my territory. So that was at that point, there was no internet then, so I couldn't do research in the easy way that we can do it now. I had to go and learn from books and programs, courses, that kind of thing. And what I soon learned is it was all about the mindset. And if you support people's mindset, not only does it impact on what they can do as a salesperson or sales leader, they can grow really fast if their mindset's in the right place. They can succeed even more when their mindset is in the right place. But it also has a huge impact on well-being and making the culture a really positive and vibrant place to be. So that's what drove me to write this book. Because I wrote a book about 10 years ago around how to be a successful salesperson, and this book is really about leadership, because since I wrote that book I realized without a good leader, doesn't matter how good a salesperson is, doesn't matter how much they believe in growing their ability, sales leader actually can squash that and flatten that if they're not of the same thinking.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, a friend of mine once said that he described sales leadership as more shit but the same size shovel. And I thought you'd appreciate that.
I love that. That's right up my
And
street.
I think that I've not read Mike's comment, but I put it up. So yeah, agree with you, Mike. Yes,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and one of the things, I've just written a review for Andy Paul's book that's just come out, and I know when there's people that I look up to, and like yourself, Leigh,
Bless you.
and it's like, here's a person who knows their stuff. When they come out with a book, I'm always going like, oh my god, what it's going to be about? And it's please don't let it be about some of the mundane stuff that everybody else writes about. And what you did was it's like, you want to be a sales leader, you need to read this book.
Yeah, I hope that's what I was striving for.
Because what you've done is exactly what you just said earlier on, which is to say, what all sales leaders do, quite often, most sales leaders are promoted because they're good salespeople.
Yeah.
So the first thing they do when they're a leader is they say, you should do exactly what I did.
Yeah.
And of course,
and I'm guilty of that. I did that. I was one of those people.
And of course, everybody's different.
Yeah.
And what you've done is that you've I've just opened, understanding your people. I remember walking through it, creating a healthy sales growth mindset culture.
Yeah.
There isn't a book like this out on the market, Leigh. This is a unique. There's very few sales leadership books, and certainly not when you're talking about how belief impacts well-being and performance.
Yeah. Yeah, it really does. And there's such a problem with well-being right now. The last 2 years, in fact, we're now suffering the consequences of the last 2 years. So because when you've been around a long time, you see patterns playing over and over and over again. And what I have witnessed is this year is consequences time. This year is like, if you looked after your people, if you supported them, if you kept nurturing them to grow and supporting their mind, then you're probably going to be in a good place. But if you had your head down, being the sales leader, doing what sales leaders do, letting your team get on with it, not even noticing if they're struggling or not, then right now you're probably not going to be in a good place. I would say it's highly likely you've lost any talent that you had in the team.
Yes. Yeah.
And you've got more new people, which means that they're taking up more of your time and they're not as productive, and you are going to be not in the best place that you could be. And that is not anyone's fault, because no sales leaders, well, very few sales leaders get the development they need to create a culture. Because rightly, as you say, Tim, they've all been really great salespeople, normally growth mindset. They've done really well because of that growth mindset. they don't understand people that have got a fixed mindset.
No.
They can't lead them because I cannot tell you the thing that most successful sales leaders say to me. You know, people who've been really successful salespeople go, why don't they just do it? And they say it with that frustration. Why don't they just do it? It's so easy. And I go, because they're not you.
I know I've given presentations in the past when I was in the corporate world where it says, do you want to make more money? Okay, do this, 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 and this. And everyone just sits and reads the newspaper. It's like, why don't they want to earn more money? Well, sometimes actually people don't.
And even when they do, they've got so much angst and fear inside them. They've maybe been humiliated by, adults when they were kids or teachers. They've when they've made a mistake, they've got laughed at. So now I'm not making any mistakes. Therefore, I'm just going to play it small and play it safe. Now, they may not even consciously know that they are doing that, but our unconscious patterns drive us whether we know them or not. And it's really very sad when sales leaders don't support the biggest group in their team, like 80% of the team are what I call people who want to be successful, but they need great leadership. They need coaching. They need nurturing. They need nudging out of their comfort zone, but not too much that you paralyze them. You know, leaders have to be a connoisseur of tension. How much tension or challenge is just enough so that the person goes, well, I think I can do this first step without being a bit nervous, but thinking, yeah, I think I can just about manage this first step. That's what leaders need to do. They need to nudge them out and then deal with the resulting stress so that people grow a little bit every day.
So tell us about the 10-80-10 rule.
Oh, okay. So 10% of your team are your top performers who are not only top performers in the level of sales they deliver, but they are also delivering quality sales. So they are bringing in the sales that you go, oh, this is such a great deal. You know, everything's all been thought through. It's good for the customer. It's good for the business. It's good for the salesperson. It's good for everybody. So that's your top 10% of any team. You will find that. And I've found that ratio in practically every single client I've ever worked with. Someone who's bringing in lots of sales but not doing it in an ethical way is not one of your 10%ers. They are bringing in the money, but they are not a 10%er. Now, the 10%ers, doesn't matter if their sales leader is Mickey Mouse, because they don't need leading. They lead themselves. They are going to do it no matter what. When the environment changes, when the world changes, they bend to suit. They are naturally growth mindset, and they are going to do what it takes to bring home the bacon, which is a really odd thing to say when you're a vegan like me. Bring home the bread. So you've got that 10% at the top, and these are normally the people that are promoted to sales leadership, who then don't understand the people below the 10%. So then you've got 10% at the bottom. Now, these are the people who've either checked out, feel they've been violated, or look, they don't want to be there, but they're going through the motions. And these people are normally a great focus for sales leaders because they really want to turn these guys around, and you're wasting your time. I'm not saying don't support them if they ask for support. What I'm saying is these guys need to decide, are they staying and am I committing? And if they don't, then just let them leave and find something that lights them up. And the greatest gift you can give them is helping them find actually that job that lights them up. So there's your 10% at the top, you've got your 10% at the bottom, and then the 80% in the middle are where your big wins are. Every sales leader on the planet should be focused on the 80% element of their team, because these guys actually do want to do it. They want to be more successful. They can see the people above them and want to be like them. They can see the people behind them and they definitely don't want to be like them, but they haven't always got the inner confidence or self-esteem or methodology or the courage, all these growth mindset factors that make them able to do it. So do they take up a lot of your time? Yes, but all your big wins will come from them. And you'll find the ratios change. You know, some of your 80%ers will go into 10, sometimes the 10 drop down. It's a movable feast. But the thing to remember is you cannot have a team of top performers. It is impossible. It's an illusion. It's a dream. You will never get that because everybody's at different stages of their career. So what you're looking for, instead of 100% team, you want every member of your team at 100% of whatever stage they're at. So if they're new, are they 100% after their induction? You know, if they've been there a year, are they at 100% of where they should be after a year? That's what a sales leader does. It's like getting them to 100% of where they are so they're ready for the next step.
So that's brilliant. And I mean, I love that because one of the things about when you move into management, no one tells you, unless you actually get trained, where it is you need to focus. And I think that, and often what happens is you say to people, so where of that, you're going to place your people from 0 to 100. Where do you focus your time? And most people go, well, I'm going to focus on the people that are not performing. Yeah. Actually, as you say, sometimes the best thing you can do for them is actually help them get another job.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people that have left and gone and got other jobs, and they've been amazing.
Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true. That's my experience too, Tim. And, you know, often when I'm in organisations, I might be doing one-to-ones with a team of salespeople. And my question is, do you really want to be here? Because I'm not feeling this. And they go, actually, no, I don't. And I go, then life's too short. Go and find something that lights you up.
So how do you talk about creating a healthy sales growth mindset culture? So talk us through that.
Okay, this is not a quick win. This is a long game. It's a game that you play, but every day it should get a bit better. And that's what you're looking for. You're looking for marginal gains over every day so that today you're better than yesterday. And the way in which you do that is you focus on a number of elements that allow your team to grow. So instead of telling, you start asking them what they think they should do. You start getting people to collaborate with each other. When people step outside their comfort zone and make a mistake, you go, oh, wow, this is a great opportunity to learn. What do we learn from what just happened? You're creating a culture where people strive to learn and they have that psychological safety to do that. They don't feel that if they stick their neck out, someone's going to chop their head off if they get it wrong. So creating a growth mindset culture is not doing one big thing. It's doing lots of little things consistently. So, you know, coaching for me is a big one. Also, being what I call a compassionate leader is a big one. Now, compassion is different to empathy, because empathy, you kind of have to have a similar experience to go, oh yeah, I know what that feels like. Being compassionate is, I'm compassionate for where you are, even if I've never experienced it. You know, and the enemy of compassion is pity or sympathy. Like, so if you're a leader and you go, oh, I'm really sorry that your marriage is just broken up, or I'm really sorry your dog died, and I'm so sorry, there. That's not the same as saying, oh man, that sucks. You know, oh, that's really bad. You know, what do you need? What do you need? What can I do?
And what's your forecast?
And what's your forecast? What, you know, but it can also be like, what do we need to do with your pipeline to support you?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, go away and sort it. You know,
yeah,
because you're not going to sort your pipeline with the you know.
No, you know, in all the years when I was a salesperson, there was only 1 month when I didn't get my target, and that was when my husband gave up smoking. That was the only month in my history that I didn't get my target. And my sales manager said to me, tell him to start smoking. I went, oh no, this is the best. I want him to stop smoking. It was a nightmare, but only one. That's not bad.
It's not bad. It's not bad. So Leigh, it's been great to talk to you. The 20 minutes goes so quickly.
I know, it really does.
The grow your people, grow yourselves. It's I loved it. I really loved it as a book, and it was one of those. I'm a big reader, but this one I just you just sucked me in because of the fact that there isn't, I've read lots of books about asking questions and lots of books about cold calling and lots of books about all kinds of stuff in sales, but there isn't a book like this which is it's a book of its time, which is we need to look after people. A lot of sales leaders do not believe in servant leadership, but I'm sorry, but it's here and now, and we need to understand how we work with our people, and we need to understand to get the best out of them. And this is a really good read to help people with that.
Thank you so much. That's so aligned to my thinking, Tim. The old way is broken and it doesn't serve us anymore.
It doesn't. No.
Yeah.
It doesn't. And we have to, I hear a lot of people say to me, oh, we can't get the staff. And in many cases, you can't get the staff. But as I agree with you, that after the last 2 years, there's where people just beat people. Thanks, Mike. Thanks for, and
thanks, Mike.
And Graham, blaming your husband,
But that talent aren't going to these companies. They don't want to be in companies that whip them to within an inch of their life.
No, and the thing is that we can see what a company's culture is like by either the interview process or what they're like on social or whatever, and it's just that they just won't go to the companies.
That's right. That is absolutely spot on. Yes, Graham, you're spot on. When you get them, look after them. They are like your family. And I think sales leadership is very much like parenting. They are your family and you need to develop them so that they're ready for the next stage, like your kids.
Yeah. So Leigh, remind people where they can get hold of you.
You can get me on LinkedIn and you can get me at sales-consultancy.com.
And you are the first ever Leigh Ashton.
I'm the first ever Leigh Ashton on LinkedIn, Leigh Ashton 1, and on Facebook. I'm Leigh Ashton 1 on Facebook as well.
Fantastic. Leigh, I'll catch up with you soon, I'm sure. Thank you so much for today.
Thank you so much, Tim. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thanks.